Hey guys, so Soul Eater has been out for a week now, and I have been playing a ton of this class. I am using the Knight's Edge Crit Swift variant of the class, and it has been a ton of fun, and this class is also extremely strong. I'd say, especially at the moment, with the fact that we're not level 60 as well, we are definitely quite a bit weaker than the spec variant of the class, the Full Moon Harvest, I believe it's called. But still, we are an extremely strong class, and you should definitely be doing some good damage on this class. But I have noticed some Soul Eaters out there not really doing that much damage, and I feel like you guys are probably missing a couple things in your rotations or the way you play your Soul Eater that are probably making you do less damage than you should be. And I wanted to go over a couple of those things on this video to make sure that you guys, learn and play your class a little bit better, be stronger. Everybody wants to be a cool fighter, right? So I wanted to go over a couple of these tips and kind of things that I've noticed about people playing this class that, might be holding them back. So the first one really is, of course, and this is very basic, probably shouldn't even be on this video, should be assumed, but know your rotation. I'm going to put the rotation on the screen right over here somewhere in the middle of the screen and basically show you the rotation. So that is the rotation. For the most part, people know it. It's there's videos, pictures for the rotation that you should practice and get to know before you really dive into this class. But I wanted to let you know a couple of other things that I think you might not know about or don't think about or haven't heard about, whatever it is. I want to give you a couple of things that I've noticed that people don't really do. The first piece of advice really is around the Lunatic Edge skill and its uptime. So Lunatic Edge gives us move speed, which is very important because we use Raid Captain. So Raid Captain right here, we use this engraving as a part of our core engraving, and this gives us damage based on move speed. Now, in order to cap the amount of damage, we want to be at max move speed whenever we're doing damage, basically at all times, right? Our base move speed is about 120-ish, 121-ish or so because we are a crit swift class, and then we are also getting yearning from our supports, which I have emulated here with spirit absorption and move speed reduction, attack speed reduction. So we are at around 121% move speed with all of that. Now, if we use Lunatic's Edge, that brings us up to 140 move speed, which is cap, which gives us maximum potential for our Raid Captain. Now, something I've noticed that people aren't doing is they aren't keeping their uptime on their Lunatic's Edge. This skill, with a level 4 tripod and a level 7 cooldown gem, will give you 100% uptime on the buff. So you pop it, the countdown, the cooldown starts going down, and then by the time it's up, you can do it again. I have a level 8 cooldown gem on this and a level 5 tripod on it, but again, level 4 cooldown gem, level 7 cooldown gem, and level 4 tripod will work as well, and you can have 100% uptime on this. Now, I talk about this because if you do not have uptime on this, especially before you're using your big skills like your guillotine swing, your Reaper Scythe, your vestige, you are missing out on a lot of damage. To do the math, if you don't have it up, you are doing about 9. So Raid Captain, the green graving, is giving you about 9.45% damage with my current stats. But with the Lunatic Edge move speed buff up, we are getting 18% damage. So that's double. You're missing half the amount of damage if you don't have this up, especially when you're using your big attack skills. So my first piece of advice is always keep this skill up. This, I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but, this is part of my rotation. There's that rotation picture that you showed me earlier, right? What if I get in a situation where I get moved away from the boss, or I can't hit the boss, and then I have to keep up my rotation? Well, what I have to say to that is that even though the rotation is there, it is definitely just a guideline for what you need to be doing. It's not exactly what you're going to be doing every single raid, every single rotation, every single fight. It's just there to give you kind of a structure for how you want to use your attacks. And depending on the situation, you might want to change certain things up. So one thing I wanted to let you all know, and is that Lunatic's Edge right here, of course, it's a meter gen, right? It gives you about 75% of your meter. So that's great, and that helps you out your rotation, right? You hit this, and it gives you full meter. Boom, that's rotation, right? But one thing you gotta notice is Rusted Nail is not really that core to your rotation. I think for this situation, the only time you're ever using Rusted Nail for meter gen is when you're doing this part of your rotation, right? This one into this, into harvest, right? Then you have a little bit left, and then use your Rusted Nail to finish it up. And then you finish up your rotation, right? But for the most part, you don't use it for your rotation. So what you can do is, because if you're like, oh shoot, I am about to use a pink skill, and I don't have the move speed buff up, right? Then you could just use your Lunatic's Edge, pop it out, right? And then instead of using Lunatic Edge for rotation, use Rusted Nail for rotation. You could use that interchangeably with your Lunatic Edge. And this skill is pretty much always on cooldown because you only use it in one part of your rotation. So I would say that you don't need to stick exactly to your rotation. Don't do that, because uptime is everything when it comes to the swiftness, or not swiftness, but non-spec classes, right? Non-burst classes. You really want to keep your damage uptime. And sometimes what that means is you might want to even change up your rotation for the other skills. For example, I might want to go directly into Vestige after this, and then use this, and then go into this, and then, end my rotation like that, right? Instead of using your lethal spinning first before your Vestige, sometimes you want to use a Vestige because maybe you're over here and the boss is like over here or something, right? Or you're in front of him and the boss moves away and you want to catch up to him. But if you're walking over there, you're not doing damage. But if you charge up your Vestige to catch up to him, you're going to be doing damage while you're catching up to him. These things can be used interchangeably. Ideally, in a rotation, the set of rotation, right? You want to use all those skills for your meter gen, but the order of those skills isn't as important as you think. So make sure to be flexible with your rotation. And to that, also, sometimes you might miss a part of your move because a boss moves or you missed your skill. That's fine, because again, Rusted Nail is here to help out, to make up for some of that missing meter. But also, in addition to that, your auto attacks also generate meter. So, for example, let's say I'm over here and I'm trying to do this combo, right? 1, 2, here. The boss moves when I'm trying to use my E skill, and I only hit two parts of it, right? I have a little bit left, and maybe Rusted Nail's on cooldown because you just use it for a counter, right? Well, your auto attacks also gain meter. So you can use that to gain that extra meter, that little bit of extra meter that you didn't get because you missed an attack because the boss moved or something. So that's another area to take note of. Use your auto attacks for meter gen when you don't have other skills up. It sucks, it doesn't gain a ton, but it does gain meter. Sometimes you're only missing that just a little bit of meter because maybe you missed that small attack. So the last and final piece of advice I want to give you guys has to do with your rotation in Deathlord mode. Now, they have kind of a general guide for what you should be doing in Deathlord mode in terms of rotation, but sometimes, again, your cooldowns don't work out that way, right? Well, I wanted to show you some, just like a piece of advice for Deathlord mode. And that is really around keeping Lunatic Edge and Rusted Nail for the end. So you're going through your attacks, you're doing whatever, maybe you're not going through a rotation, right? But you're keeping your uptime, things like that. Now, around the end of Deathlord mode, you don't want to use Lunatic Edge or Rusted Nail, because you don't want those skills to be on cooldown when you come out of Deathlord mode, because you want to use them for meter gen to restart your rotation. So it's very important that at the end of Deathlord mode, you don't use both Lunatic Edge and Rusted Nail, because you want to keep that, again, for meter gen. So I'm going to go back into Deathlord mode shortly here, just to show you guys what I mean. So here we go. Here's the rotation. Just going to smack my skills, because I'm a little Oompa Poonga right now. But we're getting to the end of Deathlord mode, right? You don't want to use both of them, because you want to keep this up to continue your rotation. Bam. And that way, everything's smooth, you come out, and you don't have to wait for your cooldowns to come back up. So, there you go, guys. Those are my tips for Knight's Edge, Soul Eater. It's a really, really strong class. Some people might get turned off of it because there is a tight rotation, a tight kind of skill order you should be doing. But for the most part, you shouldn't be thinking about that. It isn't what you don't need to be following exactly bit by bit what the guide tells you. You can move things around, change things around, fit the situation. And I'd say that's a case for every class as well, right? But I feel like there's a good number of people who are just coming into this class and having like a strict rotation for the first time. So I just wanted to give you guys those pieces of advice to help you guys with your damage. Again, very fun class, very strong class. So let me know if this guide helped you out or not. Again, if it did, hit the like button, hit that sub button, ring bell for notifications, leave a comment below, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.